Everybody knows Trump was indicted yesterday, or on Tuesday, and and excuse the background noise. People don't care I'm filming. Everyone kind of knows exactly why this is happening. It's not um, a surprise, right? And if you remember, whenever Trump wanted to talk peace, and specifically, I saw this on the Jimmy Dore clip where he shook hands with Kim Jong Un. The U.S. Stock defense contractors, the arms industry stocks plummeted. They plummeted because Trump was talking peace. Because the defense contractors, Raytheon, Boeing, Honeywell, Halliburton, all these guys, all they want is war, death, destruction, blood, basically boycotts of other nations, just so that they can go and fight in those wars. So Tucker Carlson has been doing great on Twitter. His first ever episode got like 88 million views. 88 million views. He had a third of the country watching. Almost a third of the country watching. So, why is Trump being indicted? Okay, so there's a very good reason why Trump's being indicted. And it's not because they're saying this whole, there's classified documents thing. Trump he's taking classified files. One, they all do it. You could take a stapler and it's classified. The government has 12 billion documents that are classified. Joe Biden did the same exact thing that Trump did, and he had them in multiple locations and did it multiple times over multiple decades of being in the Senate. So as a senator, he was taking home classified documents. And as a vice president, he took home classified documents. And Trump's the guy that can decide what's classified and what's not as the president of the United States. And so they're going after him. But why? Let's watch this clip because it's interesting.
But what about voters? What are they learning?
Hey, what are we learning?
Well, mostly they're learning that they have no power at all because nobody cares about them. But they already knew that.
And remember, that's actually both Democrats and Republicans. No party in Congress, no person in Congress and government, not Joe Biden, not Paul Ryan, not Mitch McConnell, not Rand Paul, not AOC squad. Nobody cares about you there.
Unlike so many of our elected leaders, they have been to America recently. They know what it looks like. Have you seen it? If you've got a few days this summer, find out. Take a road trip and see for yourself. Drive 500 miles in any direction and then come home. How are things looking? Well, they should look great. The federal government spent $6.5 trillion last year. That's more than any government has ever spent, ever. So at the very least, you would expect pristine public roads. Oh, no. That's not what you see when you drive around this country.
$6.5 trillion. $6.5 trillion. And again, forgive the background noise. So you should see a bunch of perfect little streets and sidewalks and curbs and tunnels and railways and whatever, right? That's what you should see.
There are potholes and Jersey barriers everywhere. Looks like Tegucigalpa before the Chinese decided to rebuild the infrastructure of Honduras. We don't have China buying our roads. So they're falling apart. You'd think the people you would pass on your road trip would look happy and prosperous. Again, this is a very rich country. But a lot of them don't. Quite a few appear to be strung out on drugs. You see them shuffling by shuttered storefronts in small towns. And you wonder, as you see all of this, where did all the money go?
The point Tucker Carlson is making here is the government is doing what all empires do when they are ending, right? So all empires, when they ended, they spent a bunch of crazy money and did a bunch of crazy things that didn't benefit their civilians and their people or their commonwealth. And instead, it just benefited the wealthy, the powerful, the oligarchs, and the hegemony, and all of those people, right? So we spent $6.5 trillion, right? Where's all that money going, right? It's not going. It's not here. Go ask anybody. They're poor. They're working 2 jobs. They're working 3 jobs. Where's all that money? It's going to a bunch of corrupt countries like Ukraine, and we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on endless, senseless, and illegal wars that a lot of my friends on Facebook, one in particular, is okay with because, Russia bad. So voters don't want war with Russia, but Joe Biden does. Mitch McConnell does. Lindsey Graham says it's the best money we've ever spent. And yet we don't have health care. They won't give us health care. They won't give us a living wage. They won't give us free college. They won't forgive student debt. They won't lower interest rates. They won't do anything for you, but they'll do anything for the war profiteers.
It's certainly not here. Well, it's in Washington. It's in Fairfax and Loudoun counties and in leafy, perfectly manicured Northwest DC. And of course, a huge chunk of it went to Ukraine, to Zelensky and his friends. Not because you voted for that. You didn't vote to give it to them. You never would. But because Joe Biden and his many allies, from Chuck Schumer to Mitch McConnell to Paul Ryan and every single news anchor on all of television, all of them believe that Ukraine, its borders, its future, its infrastructure are all more important than the town that you live in. They sincerely think that. And it's obvious.
So when you go to the polls and you're voting and they're paying you lip service saying we're going to do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do this and that, just remember they're not actually going to do it for you, okay?
Everyone in power thinks that, except for Donald Trump.
That's right. That's a very important point. Every single person in power thinks that helping Ukraine and aiding Ukraine and starting a war with Russia and starting a war with China and overthrowing Venezuela's government and overthrowing Iran and causing nuclear war all over the place and destabilizing the Middle East, everyone in power thinks that, except one man, Donald Trump. Now, I disagree with him vehemently on many issues. But if there's one thing he didn't do is start a war within the next, in his 4 years. First president in decades to do it. I think after what? Eisenhower? Maybe even before that, Roosevelt. Only Roosevelt because he had to.
Whatever else you say about him, Trump is the one guy with an actual shot at becoming president who dissents from Washington's long-standing pointless war agenda.
Now, he does, and that's why he wanted to pull out of Afghanistan, but it was a cuck way. It wasn't completely, and he still kept us in Syria, and he still kept our destabilizing forces in Yemen and Pakistan and the Sudan and all of that, but he did stop Somalia. So, again, his point is, he's the only guy talking about ending this war. Nobody else is talking about it except for RFK Jr. and Donald Trump.
And for that one fact, they're trying to take Trump out before you can vote for him.
That's it.
And that should upset you more than anything that's happened in American politics in your lifetime.
Absolutely.
Even if you don't plan to vote for Donald Trump, even if you would die before voting for Donald Trump, which is your right, and a lot of good people feel that way, even still, the destruction of our democracy, which is the right of voters to support any candidate they want, even candidates who don't want war with Russia, the destruction of that should keep you up at night.
There you go. Even if you don't care for Donald Trump, you would die before voting for him. They are actively undermining this justice system. They are preventing you from having a voice at the ballot box. And they're trying to lock him up in prison because he dissents from the normal Washington and establishment, Democratic and Republican establishment belief that war is the end all be all, no diplomacy, no peace. And Trump is the total opposite of that. Now, he didn't govern like that, but again, that's why they're putting him in jail. It's not that he had classified documents. It's not that he had them in his bathroom. It's not anything. It's that he dissents from establishment beliefs of war.
Yes, Donald Trump is a flawed man, but his sins are minor compared to those of his persecutors. In this life, we don't get to choose our martyrs. We can only choose our principles, and America's are at stake.
So I completely agree with that. You know, look, Donald Trump, he's not strong like all these Republican strongmen try to say. Strawmen, whatever. But the point is, they are literally doing what they said Trump would do. Oh my God, if Trump gets in office, he's going to lock his opponents. Oh my God. And now, and remember, Jair Bolsonaro, he jailed Lula da Silva when he was trying to run for president against him. And the media went all crazy, rightly so. And then when Trump was getting in office, they thought, oh, he's going to lock up Hillary. He's going to lock up all of his critics. He's going to do this. He's going to imprison them. He's going to stop American free speech. And now Trump is being persecuted by the very political class who said, oh my God, he's going to do that. Joe Biden is doing that to Trump. his political opponent, his top political opponent. He's got a 60% shot of being the Republican nominee again. And yet Joe Biden is now persecuting Donald Trump so that you don't vote for him at the ballot box. That's why. So when people say, oh my God, but he had classified documents. Joe Biden not only had classified documents while he was senator, while he was vice president, he also had them in multiple locations, at multiple homes, and carelessly thrown around. Okay? And by the way, Glenn Greenwald is right. AOC, Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Ilhan Omar, Marie Newman's not there anymore. Corey Bush, Jamal Bowman, Lindsey Graham, Nancy Pelosi, all these people, they fight about transgenders and guns and LGBTQ and all this kind of crap. But the one thing that they're all on the side of is war. They all believe in war. They all want war. They've never met a war they didn't like, and they never will fight in these wars, but they will burn this country to the ground, and they will send your boys and your girls off to these wars to die, all for the hegemony, all for the power, all for the money. And that is exactly why they're coming after Trump, because he at least is saying that he wants to end these wars. And this shows you that this indictment is a sham.